So let's continue. Okay, so it's G, so section G, and it says utensils inserted into hot food. Okay, that's very interesting. Number one, ladle or spoon of one type inserted into the food of the other type. I think this is the most practical or popular issue that happened in the kitchen. That's from my experience, right? They use the wrong spoon. Okay, so one more time, a ladle or a spoon of one type inserted in the food of the other type. Okay, so it says when a clean ladle used for one type of food, for example dairy, is inserted into a pot of hot food of the other type, for example meat, even for a second. So meat or dairy. So just to remind you, we can always switch. It's exactly the same issue. So, but we're going by one scenario, but exactly the opposite types. Okay. So even for 1 second. So okay, the taste may be infused from the ladle into the food, and from the food into the ladle. Okay, very straightforward. The status of the dairy ladle depends upon these variables. Okay, A, heat of the hot food. Okay. B, whether the ladle was inserted into kli rishon or kli sheni. C, the amount of dairy taste originally absorbed into the amount of dairy taste originally absorbed into the dairy ladle. D, the depths to which the ladle was inserted into the meat part. E, whether or not there is meat in the pot. Very interesting. So we're going to discuss all of this. F, the ratio of the volume of the meat and the other food in the pot to the volume of the ladle. And G, whether or not the ladle is ben yamo. Since this halacha is very complex, okay, I apologize. I said we're going to answer, but no. The question of this nature must always be presented to a Rav. Okay. So let's start from the beginning, and we're going to explain. At least, okay, of course, he said that there's no, he does not give an answer, but we will try to at least explain the questions. Okay, that's also a lot. Right, so it's very important when you ask the question, like when you to pose an intelligent question, like what do you think is the problem? So sometimes people give me the problem, very long issue. So I said, but what do you think that the issue is? So sometimes I don't understand so much information. They just dump all of these details, and sometimes people they say I don't know what the problem is. You understand? So we have to understand what's the issue. So one more time. When a clean ladle, so ladle is clean, used for one type of the food, for example dairy, is inserted into pot of hot food of the other type, for example meat, even for a second. So we have a dairy ladle and inserted into the meat pot. So as we said, it's proper to color coded them. So, for example, your dairy ladle would have a, let's say, white handle. So why would you make a mistake, right? But that's beside the fact. But it's very, very important, like, not to put yourself in that situation, because if you're not going to ask the question, or you decided yourself go by lenient opinion, so like all your life you can live in doubts. That's not good. Okay, so dairy ladle. So we simplified the scenario. Dairy ladle inserted into the meat pot, even for 1 second, right? The taste may be infused from the ladle into the food, right? And from the to the food into the ladle. So I mean it's two-way street. Because why? Because we inserted the ladle, even though the ladle was cold. There is no problem. But it is inserted. So that's very different from whatever we said before, because this hot liquid was poured from one utensil into a second utensil. In a second utensil, it was also hot. That's just so we understand what's the difference between these two cases. Okay. Okay. So the status of the daily ladle depends upon several variables. So let's try to understand these variables. Because I think we cover all of these scenarios, but let's see. Let's test the heat of the hot food. So the heat of the hot food, what does it mean? So was it higher than Yatzel Adasbo when the hand recoils? So every temperature that is less than Yatzel Adasbo, so they say it does not have potential to cook. Okay, so that's and infuse the taste. Okay, at least the possibility is lesser. So it's A. So we explain A. B. Whether the ladle was inserted into kli rishon or kli sheni. So and that's very, very important. So this ladle, again, it's cold, and it was inserted. So we need to know whether the vessel was kli rishon. Kli rishon, again, I remind the one that that this food was cooked in or warmed up. Let's say I'm up to Yatzel Adasbo. Or kli sheni. So what is the difference? So even the food is kli is Yatzel Adasbo, when the hand recoils, but in kli sheni, so the potential to cook like diminishes a lot. So in a kli rishon, in the initial utensil, even you take out of fire, it's still very hot because it was cooked. But when you transfer and it's still hot, like you transfer like a second ago into the secondary utensil, the potential of cooking diminishes. So even if it was still Yatzel Adasbo, so there is more room for leniency. That's why he asked this question. So third question, Rabbi is going to ask you, the amount of dairy taste originally absorbed into dairy ladle. So amount of the taste meaning what? Well, like how do you know? How can I measure the taste absorbed into the dairy ladle? So it's actually very, very simple. I mean, I'm not sure why he asked in this manner, but okay. So basically, if its ladle was ben yamo, was it used in this on that day, or was not used on that day, or it was there like dori to begin with. For example, they use this ladle for milk and never cleaned. So I mean, maybe you cannot see maybe it's such a color, so you cannot actually see the milk that was soiled. Okay, so that's what it means. The amount of dairy taste absorbed into the dairy ladle. Okay, question number 4: the depth to which the ladle was inserted into the meat pot. The depth that depends on why do we care about the depth? So it's like how much of this ladle was like how much, like the deeper you insert the ladle into the pot, the more like taste from this ladle is going to absorb into the meat pot. That's okay. The volume, right? Next one is E. Whether or not there is a meat in a meat pot. So and we said actually that's we spoke about it some time ago. So even though the chicken soup, right? You cook a chicken soup, and you remove the chicken, so it's only broth. That's it. So for us, it's considered to be meat, but it's not meat. So it tastes of the meat, and it's not meat. So in some cases, we can decide a little leniently because there was no actual meat. I mean, for regular halachic purposes, like in a regular scenario, yeah, it's 100%. This chicken soup is 100% meat, but there are some exceptions. Okay, so F. The ratio of the volume of the meat and the other foods in the pot. So maybe, as you said, maybe like they have like a small piece of chicken So all other pieces of chicken they removed, right? And only a small piece of chicken remained there, and the rest is actually chicken is not a good example. Okay, in case of the chicken, just to remind us, we can rule a little leniently in case of deriving benefit, because it's the prohibition is rabbinical to begin with. So, for example, if we want to give our cat or dog or somebody, so we can give derive benefit. Okay, but meat, so it depends the ratio of the meat to the whole pot. Okay. The ratio volume of the meat, the food, to the volume of the ladle. So meaning if it's 1 to 60. Okay. I'm not sure how to measure the taste from the ladle. I mean, theoretically we understand, but practically I'm not sure how they measure. Okay. Continue. G. Whether or not the ladle is binyamo. That's I mean I would ask this question first, but he just be building his case. So if it's binyamo, as we said before, it's I mean if it's binyamo, so it's much stricter. If it's not binyamo, it's much lenient, but still okay. So of course they say talk to your local Orthodox rabbi. Okay. So as we said, as we can see, it's not so simple. So again, it's absolutely proper to spend time, maybe spend a little money, but to say, to have this utensil that you cannot make mistakes, and don't let anybody like your relatives, your mother, your grandmother came, your mother-in-law came and started helping cooking. No, said grandmother, please, your guest of honor, just sit in an armchair and don't move. Basically, read books and leave the kitchen alone. You understand? So because it could turn into disaster, and then people in the middle of Shabbos, in the middle of Yom Tov, they do not know what to do. If Rabbi is close by, they can walk to his house and ask them questions. Knowledgeable Rabbi, yes. But if not, so they got stuck, and sometimes they get stuck with main dishes. Right now, they do not know what to do. So, okay, so that's very interesting.